Okay, we're recording right now. We started. We're just jumping right in, Elliot.
Jumping
Ladies
right
and
in.
gentlemen, welcome to the Valleyfolk podcast called the Valleycast, where we are going to give you a very quick rundown of what we just talked about for 15 minutes before my computer totally crashed.
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes, I think it starts with your show.
Did you lose the files?
We lost the files. Yes,
Heck yeah, dude. We're back in action.
we're back. So here's a little recap. And you know what? I think this is you make some lemonade out of lemons. What we're going to do
Right.
for you is save some of your time and just kind of probably more succinctly talk about what we just talked about very, very quickly. Elliot, you're going on a trip soon and won't be on the podcast for the rest of November. What are you doing?
You're right, Joe, and I apologize to everyone, and thank you for your patience. I know that when I'm not present, it really just it's missing that certain kind of like what
Yeah.
that I bring.
Huh?
I'm going to Dublin and London to open for a different podcast called This Might Get Weird, starring Grace Helbig and Amy Hart.
Mm-mm.
We're going to Dublin and we're going to London. Then Grace and I never did a honeymoon. So we were like, well, if we're over there, let's make it a trip. And so, dude, we're going to Vienna, Budapest, and Prague, three places I never in a million years would have imagined I would attend. We're using a travel agent, which we've never done.
Which you're finding is incredibly convenient.
Very nice. I mean, for two indecisive wallflowers, it's a very convenient thing. And we're very excited, very nervous. Going to be very cold. There's going to be Christmassy things. We're going to go to a museum. We're going to go to, I think we're going to go see the house of Sigmund Freud in Vienna, who he had to abandon the house because the Nazis were coming to get him. But it's still there and pristine.
Spoiler,
And
they did not see him there.
and we're back. Dude, when it popped out earlier and you left, it truly you said something because we'll get you caught up. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm very excited for that trip. We'll miss being on the podcast. Very nervous about it. Once in a lifetime thing. Can't wait. Just
Also,
posing that.
you got to also say that you did not know where any of these places were.
Oh, absolutely. That's very important. That was a huge part of the original file, Joe. I have not ever looked at a map of Europe. I had no idea where these places were. I thought Switzerland was near like Norway, and it's not anywhere
What is
near
it
there.
not? It's no.
I truly looked at it and I was like, that can't be right. And I reiterated, of course, that I also learned 4 or 5 years ago that Massachusetts is actually above New York, which I still have to, even as I say it, I always wait for people to be like, no, it's not, because in the back of my mind, I haven't committed it to long-term memory.
If I'm being
Anyway,
truthful, my brain still thinks it's southern. It really
it
does.
does.
When I make up my map where they're like, Joe, take all the pieces and put them together, I think that funny looking fucking thing is over there. But I also might be confusing it with Maryland.
Exactly. Yeah, no idea, because that's another thing we talked about in that absolute gold we lost was how
Mhm.
certain shapes or certain states are shaped stupidly.
And how certain people who grew up in stupid shaped states are they know where those states are compared to others. I'm really good at the West. I know where all those go, but I don't know.
Right.
I'm really bad at the East Coast, and I've always been bad at the East Coast.
And you're twice as good as I am then, because I to this day am like if I look at Colorado and you tell me to like Wyoming,
Which square is that?
yeah, and then it goes into Arizona and New Mexico, I think, and then but you talk Idaho, Iowa,
That in my Western brain's like you're an idiot.
right?
It is pretty funny how in the West they got bored. They're like, just make them all squares. While they were super creative on the other side at first, they're like, and we're gonna put a little flourish at the end of this one.
Yeah,
Whoop.
yeah, it little kind of goes over here a little bit. It looks very etched out, and I bet they just didn't. I bet once those other states came into the union, they were like, "You mean we spent all that time?" Like, and they just took a huge swath of land. That's crazy.
Look, I think I'm really glad that we're getting to the point where we're starting to teach the truth in schools about history and the Civil War, because the Civil War was just about the right to make the shape of your state whatever the hell you want. That's it.
Yep, they don't tell you that.
That's it. But now you
Yeah,
know.
there was literally nothing else going on.
Mm.
And you can read more about that in the book Constructing the Self, Constructing America, the Cultural History of Psychotherapy. So,
Oh, I bet you that's fascinating.
Actually is really, it's the different versions of the self that we've had over the our time, like our way of conceiving of the
Different
self.
American self, just
Yeah.
depending on the era. That actually is.
Yep. Yeah, and so how it like every era thinks their version of the self is the only one, and then each era has its illnesses. Each illness has its healer, and each healer has the different technology that it uses to address these concerns. And all of these are bound up in the cultural artifacts of the era.
So the
Very
boomers are
fun.
like, we saved the world and we're the best thing ever.
Exactly. That's actually the first sentence. Um,
Uh,
Folks, welcome to Joe and Elliott's
recap.
recap, and we'll conclude there. And welcome to the next portion, which is the election prediction. Because if there's one thing we are known for, it's our nuanced political takes and our ability to be right about most things. So, Joe, how are you feeling about everything?
Okay, this is also somewhat of a recap, but we'll get through it quickly. First of all, we should be your pundits. We made this joke because our text thread is incredibly great when it comes to politics. Elliot will text me and say something like, "Dude, check this out," and I will reply with, "Saw it,"
Yeah,
or
I saw it.
"Hey, this is crazy." Yeah, dude, the nuts.
Can you believe that? But anyway,
We're having fun. We're having fun. And then we talked about how we're both we're a little so on the scared side, but hopeful.
yeah, exactly. I think it, you know, it's going to be, I'm really looking forward to the day, but I'm really not looking forward to that winding of the, when the day winds up and you're like, oh, I was hoping this would just be done. I
And
mean,
it's 3 a.m. You want to go to bed. I have a shoot the next
mhm.
day, and I'm not going to be ready for that mentally or physically. Uh,
No, you won't be. I don't think anybody will be. And that's actually the next day, dude. If you get bored, Grace has her show. You're on the guest list. So,
oh, that'll be a good distraction.
mhm.
I like that.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, everyone's going to be hungover when they show up to that.
But
But
what happens the following day and the following week, and unfortunately the following everything up until January and probably after is just going to be fucking hell. It's going to suck.
I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
I might not come back.
Yeah.
I might just stay in Prague.
I'm so jealous. You know, Christmas Prague
Can
Christmas.
you believe that? Wouldn't, if you'd told me that at any point, I would have been like, no way. I also would never thought about it. This is like one of those travel trips from like, this is like an adult thing. You know what I was thinking about during our little break there, Joe? So you know how one of Trump's greatest hits was when he said he could shoot someone in Times Square and
Yeah,
no
it's
one.
like track 4 on his greatest hit.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it was the radio single, I think, along with the pussy grabbing.
Mhm.
I think I have come full circle in that he was right, because if he were to do that right now, I would be like, ah, all right. Like, did you see this Epstein stuff that just came out?
Oh no. I mean, not nobody's
It
talking about
is
it.
no one. Yeah, I was thinking maybe you'd seen it and you'd been more like fully listened to it. I like saw a clip of it and I was like, I, I just don't care. I don't care.
But also you're like, I know. Like everybody knew.
Exactly. It's like, yeah,
Everybody knew. Like of course. Of course.
and it Epstein's like talking about how he was his best friend, and that Trump liked to sleep with his best friend's wives a lot.
Oh. But she's got a funny laugh.
Yeah, yeah, but
It's
she laughs too much.
it's
Uh,
like there's no point to talk about it because I know everybody else does, but it's just like the unbelievable double standard that has been created between these two human beings is fascinating, and it's crazy how one side is so effective at weaponizing it and the other isn't.
no,
It's so wild. It makes me feel fucking crazy.
yeah,
It makes
yeah.
me feel crazy.
Anyway, we'll all, the sun will rise the next day, and if this gets uploaded after the election, we hope everyone had a nice time. But what
Yeah,
would you say, odds wise, Joe? Did you do the betting? Did you? May
I'm
I?
gonna do that after this. I'm gonna bet. Yeah.
May I? Yeah. What are you gonna?
I don't know. I don't know because again, I go up and down on
Yeah,
how confident I am, and I hate losing money, so I'm never ever going to just like risk the biscuit.
yeah,
But just to see, because it's
yeah.
like right now the odds on the betting, not even betting, it's like stock trading. I think it's called, I forget what it's called, futures or predictions, whatever. I think they still favor Trump a little bit, so you'll win more if you go Kamala. And it's like a little bit more than I think you get. Like if you bet a dollar, you're gonna get a little bit more than a dollar back. So if you're like, I'm gonna put
Yeah.
5,000 down, you might get 10,000, which I would never do. Who has that? But I might
No.
put like $50 down.
Yeah, an amount that won't add to the crushing weight of loss any more
No.
than anything else would.
I mean, I told you,
Uh,
I regaled you all with the story before at the last election. I don't know if you remember, but I had a very close friend of a friend who was incredibly giddy on election night and my friend asked him, was like, "What's why are you so happy? Why are you so into this? You're not even from here." They were a foreign person that didn't even live in the States, and he said he took his entire life savings out and bet that Hillary Clinton was going to win. So not only did she lose, but he lost his entire legitimate life savings, and it was not an insignificant amount of money.
that is insane. I do not believe you have ever told me that story.
I'm talking in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
What? So with the giddiness, why giddy?
Because leading up, he thought she was going to win. So election night, he was like, coming, here we go. And then she lost, and he had a breakdown.
Where is he now? Is he a vagabond?
I turned around, he rebounded.
Good.
Sure, he's fine. But yeah, no. So I don't want to be that guy, and I still might feel like that after losing $50. Like
Oh, absolutely.
If I go to Vegas and I lose 20, I'm like pissed.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, no, it's not about the amount. I mean, when you start doing those, I mean, maybe if it's relative to how much
I've
you
never
have,
been,
but
I've never been at a financial place in my life where I've ever been able to be cavalier about money, like
yeah.
at all. I have my dad's disease of worrying about it all the fucking time.
Yep.
It's constant. I hate it so much, and it fucking wrecks me emotionally. And I should probably talk to a therapist about my relationship with money. I probably should.
But they cost money.
Mhm.
So good luck. You're walking into the lion's den.
Uh,
Uh,
I don't know.
the
How are you feeling about it all?
Honestly, I really do think it's a coin toss with a slight edge toward Kamala, but I really don't know.
Yeah.
I think that it's gonna be like, so with the betting thing, like assuming it's close and it takes a while to figure out who it officially is. Like, do they wait until like it's the president is sworn in, or like?
I seriously don't know because this became a thing that was okay. Oh, by the way, I also think it's fucking gross that you can do it. I don't know how much I
Yeah,
support it, everybody. I just thought it fascinating. This is like on the Robin Hood app. Like
I
that's
know. It's this sports betting thing, right? That like,
yeah.
yeah, I can't imagine that that's good for the fabric of the country.
Nope. Especially when like people with a lot of money start putting a lot of money down, and those people with a lot of money have some sway. That's pretty crazy. I think there should also be a bet on will there be shenanigans, and yeah, that's what I'm mostly literally afraid of is that I've become kind of a cynic about our our processes and our ability of our leaders to do good, and how again some people have been really good at manipulating. I mean, it happened in fucking 2000, man. Why can't it happen again? And I'm afraid of that. And
Yep, me too.
like a lot. It seems
I
like it's
don't.
out in the open.
Yeah, because I don't trust. It's not that I don't trust any of them, but I don't trust all of them, and it will take all of them to act in good faith and do the. And it is like I think a very beautiful system that we have. It's a very elegant system, but only insofar as it's not like fudged with, I
Yeah,
guess.
in insofar as people like are playing fair. And it
Yeah,
turns out you don't have to. And it turns out there's absolutely no fucking consequences if you don't. Um,
yep.
which
Might
when
even
our
be rewards.
yep, when our computer crashed earlier, we came to this point where yes, the presidential election will be great, but there's also going to be some fascinating side elections, which everybody will be taking part in. Some being is Ted Cruz going to get his ass kicked out, which will just feel so fucking good because he's
That's
such a
Colin Allred, right?
yeah. Yep. And Colin's just been like just smashing him in
Yeah,
every single clip
good.
that I've ever seen, and he's such a fucking snake. And it'd be fun to watch him go away. Did you know he's not from Texas? He's one of them. Not Colin, Ted.
What do you mean one of them?
One of them. One of those like he ushered into a state that he's not really from, and he ended up winning power.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
Hold on. Let me make sure because I don't want to talk out of tune.
no, we don't want to denigrate Cruz.
Yeah,
He's beloved by both parties.
He's from Calgary, Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What a turd, man.
Yeah.
Um,
The farthest he could be away from Texas.
yeah.
He's from fucking there. And he won and he had power and he's a piece of shit. And there's another one this is like control of the Senate. They're looking at this state. It's probably one of the top three most important fights in the election, and it's John Tester versus Tim Sheehy up in Montana.
hmm
Tester has been a Democrat that has been elected to a very like centrist Democrat that's been elected to
Yep.
the Senate. Gosh, I think 3 or 4 times now, and now it's Montana. Unfortunately, has went like very like right, MAGA right. It used to be very kind of center libertarian, almost purple. There'd be Democrats on the ticket that would get elected, and then there would be Republicans.
Ah.
And now it's really started to go the other way, and Tim is very on the edge of losing to this guy, and that this could be control of the Senate type of situation. And this guy he's a Ted Cruz. He's from another fucking state, and he's getting money from Mitch McConnell and everybody else, and he's coming in with his fancy like these are my rich people boots, and
Yep.
nobody's really being critical thinkers when it comes to this guy because it's more about it's all about power and basically bipartisan personality politics now. And
Yep.
it's just scary. He doesn't even do interviews. He like gets into his fucking motorcade and drives away and won't talk to the press. And because he's been caught in 500 lies, he thought he was saying that he got shot, like I think in the military, and it turns out he shot himself on accident in Glacier National Park, which is a double like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because he shouldn't have had a gun in Glacier National Park. It's just crazy dumb shit. And he might get elected, and that's fucking crazy.
That does sound pretty funny though, to shoot yourself accidentally in a national park. That's very, very funny and unnervingly like there's something very wrong about it, but kind of it's like sort of reminds me of the Cheney thing. I don't know if our listeners are old enough to remember when our vice president shot someone in the face.
On a hunting expedition.
Never gets old. Thank God we got him in our camp now, though. My God. Finally.
Exciting. But yeah, it's gonna be fucking no sleep. It's gonna be, yeah, I don't know.
No sleep till Brooklyn. Yeah, and I have told you about when speaking close elections, when I was a kid, how I went into the room. Well, not by myself. I was taken in there with adults. Where they made the decision that Bush was going to be the president, and I wore their robes.
Excuse me, say what? Elaborate?
And then I shot myself in the foot. I was but a wee child, and they were like, "You want to put the robes on?"
Happened?
I wasn't in the room when it happened, but I have read a little bit about what did go on down there, and I tell you, hindsight is 2020. Glad there aren't any photos of me as a 9-year-old, but yeah, there is a photo of me like straight up sitting at the table where all the justices sat wearing the justice thing, and they were like, "This is where we decided that Bush is going to be the president." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then you find out about what went down during that later, and you're like, "Well, that sounds a little shady, but okay."
It was your fault. They were like, "Elliot, what do you think? What should we do?" And you're
Well, I did that. My person was MAGA.
like, I know what a bush is, but I don't know what a gore is. So let's do a bush.
He didn't make the internet.
I like
We're all very excited. And I feel like as we get closer to the election, it's like the stress level is almost becoming so concretized. Like it's just sort of like last week I was really like more like on the fence, I guess.
I
Yeah.
agree. Same way. Like I felt like, and now it's starting to like material.
Yeah.
This heavy fucking dense gravity ball in my chest that is just like,
Yes.
it's almost pre-accepting the worst.
Yeah.
So that I don't get Hillary Clinton and wake up the next day and be like, how did that happen? This time I want to
Yeah.
go, I knew it. Knew it.
Yeah.
And I would
Yeah.
rather the opposite really surprise me.
Right. Yeah. If it goes the other way, like strongly, like if it is Trump, that is one of those things where it's like, okay, like this is where we're at, like
Yeah.
there's no arguing it. It's just kind of like there is a fractured element to this nation that seems to be worsening, and that's not good. But
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
go back to it, I guess. But maybe it'll be all fine. We'll wake up and check the news, check our phones, and me and you will send each other something that we've probably already seen. So
Mhm. Yeah. There's a potential that RFK is going to be in charge of health and Elon
mhm.
Musk of all of the budgetary financials. And man, Elon Musk is such a fucking dork. He's a
Mhm.
dork.
Yeah, he is. He is a dork.
What a fucking dork. He's such a
Yeah,
douchebag.
he's very dorky. The fanness around him, I think takes it to a new level, and I think that he's just so. I mean, the guy made his own echo chamber. It's really like took a portion of the internet and made it his own like sanctuary. And I think
Fucking
that that's
did.
got to break your brain. In addition to having so much money, because I think if you have the amount of money that these guys have, it's eventually going to wither away at your soul, and you're going to become like I don't know how anybody does it and maintains any sense of normalcy because I think it's an unfathomable amount of money. And you combine that with sycophants who believe that you are like the next, Moses. It's like that,
Space Moses. Yeah.
Space Moses, yeah, parting the parting space,
Parting the vacuum of
the vacuum. There you go, like a black. We'll find it.
yeah.
What do you think Steve's doing?
Um he's probably filled with anxiety before he gets on a stage.
Probably getting sick.
Yeah. Did you guys know that Steve Zaragoza was the first person to have COVID and we didn't know it?
Yeah, I do think that might have been the case.
Yeah. When we went on our little mini tour, which was very fun, by the way. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
everybody that came. Um, it was refreshingly so, actually. I think we went into that being a little scared, but it ended up being very good. Um, Steve got really sick like 2 days in to the point where like he was bedridden and somehow
Mm-hmm.
got up for these shows. But I don't think I've seen a man ever be so sick. And it was what, a month before, 2 weeks
Yep.
before the world shut down, something like that.
Yeah, it was like right afterward because I think it would have been around December. Um, I don't remember when it was, to be honest. I'm making that. I'm totally talking out of my butthole right now.
Yeah, I can.
But it was right before COVID hit, and we were just like getting up in his face, like, "You okay?
You're not really committing to the bit, dude.
Why you have a cold? People don't get sick."
Um, for all of you that missed that wonderful little mini tour, we had a sketch that we were going to do for Bring the Funny, or we pitched for Bring the Funny, but we ended up doing on the stage, and it was really fun, and it worked really well. It was the ice
Yeah,
cream sketch. Remember that?
I do. I do
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah,
I like that sketch a lot. We should do that again.
yeah. I'm gonna go to Prague with you. Sound good?
Please do.
I'm there. I don't have a passport. I don't
It's like 3 different languages, dude.
have. You're fucked.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have a clue. And it's like I'm not good at that. I have to like write like jokes. Dude, I got this one joke for Dublin though, and I had to run it by Pete. That's pretty I was like, is this too offensive? Because it goes like this. I was like in Dublin, like, hey, it's my first time in Dublin. I've been to Belfast before, first time in Dublin. Whenever I go to Belfast, people are like, Belfast is the best. Whenever I go to Dublin, people are like, Dublin is the best. And it's like, have you guys ever just thought about fighting it out?
Pretty good. Yeah, yeah.
Little
That's a
historical joke.
little history joke there, my friend. I like it.
Yeah,
I
a
like it.
little because I when I was in Belfast, it was like the first day, and I was like, "What was up with the troubles?" And that was the wrong way to like start a conversation. It became this whole thing like, "Well, it's because of this." It actually started in the mid-century.
You're like, no, 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 stop, stop, stop.
I'm sorry.
Don't do it. John Mulaney was on SNL last night. Did you watch any of the clips?
I didn't, but I did not see positive things, Joe, on the internet.
Oh, I just watched the clips and I was
Really?
entertained in a that's John Mulaney and I enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe it was just a weird vacuum I fell into, but like I clicked on it on a trending thing and it was on Twix, and it was all negative. And I was like, it was just a bunch of really
Well,
sad, kind of depressing comments like he's lost his spark.
you're also on X and they hate everything. Like it is just a troll site. You can't look at that for anything else anymore. Here's the thing, he's
You're
still
not
John
wrong.
Mulaney. He's still smart. However, I have never seen another human being look so much worse after getting sober. he like
Yeah.
he did not glow up, man.
No,
He
he didn't.
he looks like it is such a fucking struggle
Yep.
for him. Like, and I don't mean to laugh at it, but it's almost comical. I think he would probably make the joke. Like, he's
Yeah.
just a different human, and it's more look than energy to me. He
Hmm.
just looks fucking tired all the time.
Like, dude, you should. I had know some folks who went to see him live after his rehab thing, and they were like, it's just not as like he wasn't as good. And they were like, maybe you should like go back to doing a little bit of coke.
I think you'll watch his opening monologue, and it's all there. It's all there. It's just he's tired
Yeah, and he kind of like it does, which would be what you would expect from someone who was on coke every other time that you saw
and has
him.
two kids under the age of 3 now.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I enjoyed it. There's some really good sketches. You know how he's done the musical sketches constantly,
yes,
where he's like, "We're in a thing." They do another one of those. It's wonderful. Really funny. Weekend Update. He was not on it, but Weekend Update's always fun. Um, yeah,
Kamala showed up.
Kamala, and she was. You know how like politicians get on and they're like always extremely awkward.
Mhm.
I would contend she was. I'm not saying she was funny, but I would contend that her presence and her like living in the moment was a good 8 out of 10. She wasn't asked to do much, but it was like, oh, you didn't shit the bed.
Yeah,
Good job.
what a wildlife. I mean, I imagine what it's like for her, which is already a wildlife being vice president for 4 years. But when you're doing these campaign stops and like you just have to be hunkered down in the most important swing states and swing counties and like all the whatever your staff is saying, like we've zeroed in on this. And then they're like, also, we're gonna get you on a plane, you're gonna go to New York, it's gonna be about 10 minutes, you're gonna get right back on a plane, you're gonna come back. It's
Well, you
like
know, she was
crazy.
doing earlier in the day, right? She was in fucking North Carolina and Georgia, I think.
Yeah,
Can't
there you go.
and then she got on a fucking plane and got up and did SNL.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And then
It's
went behind backstage with John Mulaney and fucking they got fucking woo.
right. That explains. That's what keeps her going.
What Kamala's just like John. Now's the time. Like I know you haven't
Come
done
here.
it for a while, but and John would have to be like, yeah, you're right. It's the time.
If you had that happen, Joe, if Kamala came to you, you're backstage, you're before a show, and Kamala pops up and she goes, Joe, I have some cocaine for you. Would you do it if Kamala Harris asked you?
No, no.
You go to prison.
I've never partook, and because of that,
But you wouldn't even if Kamala.
no, no. There's not a human that would make me want to. Feels like it
I
would
guess
hurt.
if there was, I wouldn't have started with Kamala. That wouldn't have
Mhm.
been my first guess. So there's no human.
No,
What
no.
about dead or alive? What about if it was Jesus? Hey Joe, what if Jesus asked you to do cocaine? Would you do it then?
Cocaine Jesus, I want that movie.
Oh, it's cocaine Jesus.
Gosh dang it, he's back. Stupid cocaine Jesus.
He's,
Anyways,
he's harmless, but you know, it's not healthy. Sad.
like save some for me, Jesus. And he's like,
You
Jesus saves, but not this.
you know, that's getting
It's
down
not
there.
mine. Uh,
Well, Joe, I mean, what are you gonna do for the rest of the day? Are you gonna do football as well? Are we gonna do
I will
our
do footballs, and I will probably try to get some work done while I do footballs to get ahead of the days that I'm going to lose because of this fucking election. And yeah, I actually have a day where I don't have to do anything, which is nice. My son had a
nice?
playoff soccer game yesterday and 2 basketball games.
Wow,
He won his playoff game, and it was really,
cool.
really fun because if you have ever followed a sports team, specifically kids sports teams, They sometimes aren't good.
Yeah.
You just don't get it. And this team is getting it at the right time. They're peaking, and it's really fun because even like when your team does well, the parents on the sideline start to coexist a little bit better, coalesce, and
Yeah.
we're all like now cheering together and like knowing each other, and that's fun. And
Cool.
yeah,
That sounds very fun.
it's one of those like, oh yeah, having kids is kind of is fun. It's gonna be fun sometimes.
What did they do for Halloween? What were they dressed up as?
Hayden went as Patrick Bateman from, is that his name?
Yeah,
Yeah, American Psycho.
it's really great. I love
Yeah,
that she's got this dark horror streak in her.
yeah, dude. We went to Terrifier 3 together.
So insane. That's to me the
Patrick,
coke thing. That's cocaine.
that's,
If Kamala Harris was like, "Go see Terrifier 3 with me," I'd be like, "No, ma'am.
I'd rather do
If you
cocaine.
have cocaine, I would. Yeah, but
She apparently Patrick Bateman is one of those like this generation, my daughter's generation, love him, love that movie, and there's a lot of those costumes.
oh, really
Who knew? And then my son was a raccoon.
nice. The younger sibling costume is always the funnier when juxtaposed with the older sibling.
Yeah, I'm a big
When
raccoon. It was
we
cool.
walked around the Mamrie's neighborhood a little bit before we went to a party, and I was dressed up in my stupid beaker costume. That
Which, by the way, you guys should be commended for that. I had no clue. Like you both or her mostly put in the time to hand make those.
she is weirdly good at
Yeah,
making costumes. It is unbelievable.
that's like a
Like
weird
at a
Grace
poster board.
thing that I did not know. Like she's a
Yeah,
fucking crafter.
she really is, and it took her like half an hour, and it was a huge hit. And I ran into another beaker.
What the fuck?
Uh, hmm?
I don't like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and we're walking around and like have like a beer. Everyone's got like a little cocktail or whatever, and I'm like, is that another beaker? And I'm like, and I get up there and it's another comedian, but that we all kind of have known for a bit, and then I just said, all right, bye.
Did you do it?
When I was at the party, I went to the bar to get a drink, and I was like, can I have a one of the beers for me 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 me? And that was a pretty
And then
good
they
time.
gave you cocaine. It was great.
And then they gave me, yes, we understand.
Full circle, everybody, and we'll end on that.
We'll end on that, folks. That was our Halloween recap. And, bear in mind, folks, we have a wonderful, beautiful nation. Whatever happens for the next few weeks, just know that it's going to be okay. And we wish you the best. Get out, get hydrated, get some sleep. Don't use cocaine like Joe to soothe your problems.
Mhm.
Be like John Mulaney and be puffier and slower around the edges.
I think the cocaine did this to my nose. Look at this. I've been seeing recently how unsymmetrical my nostrils are.
I've noticed that. It's crazy, right? Me too. See?
Well, yours are way more symmetrical. Look what I have to do to make them symmetrical. Watch this. There we go.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know what happened. Must be the cocaine.
Can you imagine caring what
My
what
nose. Yeah.
yeah, if that was a thing? I don't know if I'm gonna discover anything else to be self-conscious about once
There.
the hair fully goes, I guess.
There we go. That's fun. That's symmetrical.
Yeah. Congrats on shaving your face, dude. You look good.
Oh, thanks, dude. All
Mhm.
right. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and thank you for continuing to support this train that we're on. And guess what? Spoilers. We're gonna keep doing it for a while, I think.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep it'll pop up when it pops up, but it'll keep popping.
Maybe when life like gets a little bit more available, maybe we'll make it better. We might make
Hmm.
it better someday. Who knows?
If we can figure out a way. But yeah, I was thinking about like all these podcasts that you see of just like clips of people and they're like in the same room and it's like a whole thing. And it's like, yeah, we could just like do that.
Different
It's a
energies.
crazy idea. But
Yeah, Steve's very far away now, though. That might have killed it.
well, he'll zoom in and we can just
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
We'll call
Anyway,
it
everybody,
Two
thank you
Plus
for
Doom.
listening.
Yeah. All right. Good luck on football.
Thank you.
I brought two trades to the table, and I'm just being ignored. And then I was going to try to trade with you, but then you dropped Mark Andrews, and I was like, I'll just take him.
Should I have not done that? Who did I?
But you had like who's your other one? George Kittle?
Yeah, I got killed. I'm like tight end. Oh, and I got Hawkinson, and I think he's gonna do pretty well because he's
Yeah,
like
the weird thing about our league is that I'm about to kill it, just so you know.
You probably are, man.
I got
I'm
Puka
not.
back, and I get McCaffrey back next week or 2 weeks after his bye. You
Yeah,
guys,
dude, when you get McCaffrey back, you're back. Yeah.
I'll be making a run for the playoffs, y'all.
You're against Zelon. Yeah, that'll take a.
So we'll see. Then this is
Dang, he already Joe. Your bench blew up already.
Oh, God damn it.
Wilson got 30 points, bro.
Oh yeah, Wilson. I almost traded him. Yeah, I have too many receivers to the point where I can bench Wilson. I've got all the good rookies. I just picked up Mark Andrews.
I know. That was like, but I got so many.
Yep. You're good.
I shouldn't have done that, though.
Number one. Like, you could do it. But in the future, trade that motherfucker for somebody, and somebody will give him to you.
Who?
Mark Andrews. You should have traded him.
I know. I never think to trade. I only do the picking up free agent players.
So, anywho, guys, thank you for listening to our fantasy football corner.
Forgot we were recording. All right.
All right.
Bye,
Hopefully
everybody.
This one doesn't fucking crash. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
You got the Valleycast, Joe and Stay.